This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about this idea of defining a target, picking something to work towards, being clear on your objective, right? Throughout a bucket ton of research, throughout my own experience as well, the people that I've found, and this is also something that I look at with myself, and the times where I've found to be the most depressive or the most difficult, was when I didn't have a target to aim for, a purpose to live by or live for, right? The interesting thing is that I was just grinding away maybe, and things weren't clear for me. I didn't have a deeper purpose, even though maybe I had a goal written down on paper somewhere. Maybe I was going through difficult times. I felt alone and stuff like that. But also with many other people, and for human civilizations for centuries, it's the fact that we need to have something to aim towards. There needs to be a reason that we live, a purpose, right? And so if we aren't able to define what that purpose is for us, then we perish. A lot of us perish, though, and never exactly end up sort of living like it. Maybe the next sort of purpose or the next goal or the next target is simply the next holiday, so to speak, or the next thing to purchase, right? I'm going to keep earning this money, then I'm going to purchase this thing, and then, there goes the, emotional happiness dump that comes with that, and then what's the next thing, right? But that's not true purpose. That's not really purpose at all. And so the beauty of that we have as being humans is actually being able to define the purpose for our own existence, right? Another way you can think of that is to justify our existence. It's like, well, what am I going to actually exist for? What can I utilize my life to actually be in service of? Because when we're in service, even no matter how difficult the times are, if we have a big enough why, we can get through anyhow. If we have a big enough why, we can get through anyhow. But the problem is that more often than not, we don't have a big enough why. The other thing to add to that is that we can often lack self-belief, which is different to self-esteem and different to self-confidence. But the lacking of self-belief of that, I can get through this, I can achieve what it is that's important to me. But we must define what it is that we want. Not just what we don't want, what we actually want. And often we don't give ourselves time. We will spend more time on social media. We'll spend more time hearing other people's shitty opinions. We'll spend more time judging people in public than we will on our own fucking life, going, what is it that I want? I don't know. And then figuring it out. We will continue, not all of us clearly, but we may fall into this category where we continually fill our mind with just junk. Hey, just junk. Yet we're sitting there and go, what is it that you want? And you're like, oh, I don't want X. It's like, I'm not asking you what you don't want. I'm asking you, what is it that you want that's going to allow you to get the fuck up in the morning, of course, rain, hail, or shine, but no matter what the bank account is, no matter any of that sort of stuff, so that you can keep moving forward. And this is actually one of the reasons why human civilizations for years have always flourished when there's an enemy. Because they band together as a community, right? As a community, they band together to defeat something. Because there is literally a purpose, and the risk is death. Now, for a lot of us, the risk isn't death, and we don't have a purpose, which actually means we die. It's just metaphorically. It's not actually a normal death, and sometimes actually, I say normal death as in a physical death. Sometimes it actually is. What's interesting is that the rates of suicide increase with the rates of unemployment. Right, in most countries, but Western countries, and it's because there's less purpose. People need to be able to give themselves an opportunity to be of service, right? To be of use to a community. When we can do that, when we actually get value out of that, and there's not a fucking money figure that you can put on that, hey, when we get value out of that, then our soul is enriched and we've got a reason to exist and a reason to live, and we're working towards something. And this is also something that's super interesting, is that I think out of the last, I don't know how many campaigns, but let's look at America for a second, successful presidential candidate campaigns have always had a slogan about the future, right? Even old mate Trump is Make America Great Again. Of course, it's about the past, but Make America Great Again. It's talking about the future, right? Whereas with Hillary's as an example, Hillary's was actually I'm with her. It had nothing to do with the future. And so for our own leadership, for ourselves, we must first lead ourselves into the future with a purpose before we can really do that with a larger amount of people. But it's so crucial for us to just dig deep and pull apart all of the fluff in our mind so we can get crystal clear on exactly what our purpose is. That's an investment of our time, to invest our time into getting clear on going, when I get up in the morning, when I decide what I want to do with my days, I'm going to work towards X, so that not only am I going to feel alive, but then I can also help other people to see that same thing, hey, for them, right? So I can learn how to articulate my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions really clearly and carefully, so that other people too can learn how to do that over time, so they can free themselves from the fluffy distractions that life can so often give us. And it's not actually life. It's like the egoic structures. I watched The Matrix again after doing the podcast on it. It was really interesting watching it all over again and understanding so many of the lines when they were referencing Morpheus or the Oracle or Neo, and understanding what they truly meant was so fascinating. But Agent Smith, right? Agent Smith, he's the main agent. Hugo Weaving is the actor, and he can transfer basically, and all the agents can, into anyone and try and kill you, right? That's the interesting thing around the agent, is that they can transfer into any being that is effectively plugged into the Matrix and fight Neo, right? Now, what's really interesting about that is I remember on my course that I did a couple of years back now with the coaching room, or last year rather, with the coaching room, is one of the things they mentioned is that when you're going through change and someone that is close to you in your family, your spouse, your friends, or someone along those lines, they'll often say things like, "You're changed, you know what, like, why don't you just relax? Why don't you just not do that stuff?" And they can often try and just get you to do what they think that they want you, or they think you should do, right? But what they said was that this is your ego, your egoic structures, going into them, trying to get back into you, right? It's trying to come back into you. You're relieving yourself of seeing all these egoic structures that are keeping you in this place of fear, and then you're relieving them. You're letting them fall off, but they're going into someone else trying to get into you. And I'm thinking, that's kind of crazy, but I don't mind that as an analogy maybe. Then watching The Matrix, it's exactly what Agent Smith is. Agent Smith is our egoic structures that's trying to keep us in the fucking Matrix, to just play along to whatever the fuck that is quote unquote safe. It's not fucking safe though. And so he can transfer, when you're trying to escape the Matrix, he can transfer into anyone that's close to you in proximity or into your family and fucking try and kill you. But kill you can be metaphorically, of course. That's one of the ways to take it. But it's just so interesting to understand that when we have a purpose, when we have something to really work towards, we're probably going to come up against people that think differently and maybe enemies. But that's fine, because having something worth living for means you've got something worth dying for. Doesn't mean you're going to die. It just means that you've got something that until the day comes, you can know that your life is being used for something purposeful. And if you don't feel like that, you've got an opportunity, you've got a chance to change. But it's your chance. You've got to take it. And on that note, team, I'm done. If you found this podcast beneficial, then you would definitely find the Moon Prep Intensive weekend in Sydney coming on the 21st, 22nd of September. Very beneficial. We're going to go through a heap of stuff, a heap of different models, and pull apart a heap of different things. I'd love to see you there. Otherwise, team, that's me done for today. You should totally jump on the Moon Prep community on Facebook. Literally just search it. It'll pop up, and join the conversation. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick and slay the dragon. I'll see you guys soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.